All right, blue-white Tempered Steel here. Tempered Steel, one of the cards that came to us via a historic anthology. Artifact creatures you control get +2/+2. And then we have a plethora of different artifact creatures here. Vault Skirge coming in the most recent historic anthology. Things like Stonecoil Serpent that play out early but also scale up into the late game. The flavor text on this notably including protection from multicolored, which makes it exceptionally good against things like the Niv Mizzet control deck. And then kind of the other payoff slash heavy hitters here, we have Skilled Animator, which is really sweet with not only Stonecoil Serpent, because you keep those 1/1 counters plus the 5/5, but also good with things like Gingerbrute, because it can effectively make itself unblockable, or Vault Skirge can gain you lots of life when you're racing. At the top end of our curve, we've got Whirler Rogue here, which gives us a couple of artifacts for Tempered Steel, but also can make things unblockable if we have a large threat with something like Skilled Animator. And then in the mana base here, we've got 4 copies of Blinkmoth Nexus and a couple copies of Shefet Dunes on top of our other dual lands to help us try and cast our spells consistently. So I think this deck is reasonably well positioned in the format. It's aggressive and it gets to play cards like Miscast against Jeskai control and things like Deck and Stone against Phoenix. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how the historic ladder feels this morning. It's been a second. We did mostly Brawl last week since Brawl was on a timer. We're going to be back to doing some historic daily this week, since Wizards is a big bully and decided we can't keep Brawl. Chat, the future is now. It's kind of hot in my office, and I'm going to adjust the thermostat from my cell phone. Technology is great. Look at that. Mean floor. 78 degrees. Kick it. Kick it up. Judgeinator coming in hot for the 47th month. Welcome back. It's a long time. We do have a nest. $78 seems way too high. Yeah, usually I'm pretty... Also, another thing to keep in mind is I'm currently in the basement, so if the thermostat is set to 78 upstairs, it tends to be cooler down here. I'm gonna offer a trade on this here. I'd be surprised if they take it. Deal. It's like they're playing Growl. Turn one Oasis is pretty good for us. ERCOT was setting people's ACs to 78 in Texas. I don't understand why you would have a setup where your power company has the ability to control your thermostat. That seems like a punt. You get a discount? I mean, I'd be surprised if the discount required you to give them access. Yeah, I'm aware my Nest has that capability, but they don't have the ability to connect to my house. Like, that's not configured to be set up. Like, my power company doesn't have the tools to connect to my Nest at home because they don't have permission to get into my network. You are right, it has the ability for me to give other people that permission. Alright, well, we're just gonna block people. Spreading FUD like that is not welcome. It's some real big conspiracy theory nonsense bullshit that you think anybody can connect to my Wi-Fi network. Unless you think my power company is out in front of my house decrypting my WPA encryption. Maybe your power company is outside your house decrypting your network, but mine has yet to do that, believe it or not. Sure, I believe you that people had the company set it up in a way that allows that company to connect. I understand that that's the case, but the person that I just timed out said that that's the case for my network, and it's not the case for my network because we had an independent company set those up. Actually, they plugged them in, I set them up. Alright, so we're bringing in some removal spells here. Gingerbrute actually gets blocked by a variety of their things since they have haster, so I think we do that. Pull that one out. Thanks to the folks that just checked out the Guardian Tales prologue. Appreciate you. Up to 44 of our 150 goal already. You're great, Hoaglandia. Remember, if you are a non-sub who would like a sub gift to the channel, feel free to DM me a screenshot of your Guardian Tales past the prologue on your Android device, and I'll gift you a sub this evening. This is not quite aggressive enough. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan here. This seems fine. I'm at bottom Whirler Rogue here. Oh, I probably should have played this off the Spire, huh? Yeah, that was a mistake. Bit of attack for one here. Should have been greedy and kept the 4-drop chip. Rada's an interesting one for their roll deck. Speaking of interesting ones, let's attack you for 5 and then play something that's protection from your board. The protection from multicolored incidentally comes up a ton in this format. It's real sweet. This start, very good against most aggressive decks. Okay, chat, what does this attack mean? Anybody know? It's Bone Crusher Giant. Bone Crusher Giant in its pile of text says damage can't be prevented this turn. It could be a mistake as well, but in general, playing around a card that's a 4 of that they're representing just seems like a good idea. Especially when I have good attacks in the backswing. Maybe they didn't have it? We'll just make this unblockable. Are you dead yet? Crunch. Ed Cook, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel this afternoon. I think I'm happy with how I boarded here. Hey, Cook, thanks for the brand new Prime support. Is it Cook or Cookie? Let me know. Either way, I appreciate the Bezo bucks. Yeah, seems fine, right? Not amazing, but fine. Fifth land is not the droid we're looking for. Stomp disables the damage protection part of protection. The damage prevention part of protection. Blah, 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 blah. Words and mush. So it doesn't let them suddenly like block your protection creature with the color of it. Good morning, regular wizard. Ooh, we get to untap with Steel Overseer. That's real good. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so Homunculus, Stonecoil Serpent for 1, pump up the jam attack for 3. I think we're pretty happy with that trade. Which nest did I get and would I recommend it? Tag Krillydactyl on the subs Discord. She did the research on that. No, I've played Nier Automata Dream. The Nier Replicant is the new one. I'm interested in getting at some point. So we already did a playthrough of Automata on stream. Opponent pretty unlucky here with no 4-mana play. Hey, thanks Trevor, just finished the Guardian Tales tutorial. Appreciate you. Two creatures in bin, so this is a 4/4 as well at the moment. Is it on sale on the PlayStation or on PC? Because I don't really want it for the computer. Grow, my children, grow. Am I attacking? So there's 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like we just chill for now, huh? If they find a cleave soon, we're gonna be in trouble. But like cleave's one of their cleave and questing beasts are their 2 good draws. We have like all of our artifacts are good draws at this point. I have no idea what Merchant's Dockhand does, so I'm going to assume it's an awful card. Yeah, that card's unplayable. A 4-mana 1/2 is not a constructed playable card. Just individually very weak, whereas Karn is an individually good card. So Karn is a card that stands on his own while having synergy with what our deck is doing, whereas that is a card that does not stand on its own. It's actually just like useless without it. Yikes. If this company's good, we could be in a little bit of trouble here. Need to dodge cleave for a little bit. Second Scavenging Ooze is not that good. Worth noting that Galia is going to draw them some cards, though. Mr. Stove, thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people you can ship that to for someone there on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month. Rats! They left 1 creature in their bin. Smart. Well, so like your recommendation doesn't recommend a 1-drop. Oh, does that card cost 1? Oh, I messed up the... Yeah, I still don't think that card's very good at paying 4 mana to activate it, but yeah. It's 1-drop. It's less bad than I was I thought at a glance. Still not very good. No, they wanted to just trigger Gallia here, and they were hoping to draw a cleave. Yeah, you have to tap artifacts. The best way to think about a card like that is, if you have to tap a bunch of artifacts, you're probably winning if you have a bunch of artifacts. So it's kind of a textbook win more card. Whereas, like, Karn is a card that's good when you have a bunch of artifacts, but it's also useful when you don't. They just put a ton more creatures in the bin for these scavenging Urzas, so I think we're in a holding pattern for now still. We're just waiting on a what's it called? Our 4-drop to make something unblockable. Especially with Steel Overseer in play, growing our board every turn. The way they're spreading these counters out here, Deck and Stone would also break the board stall as well. A couple copies of those. I did see that Toyota was the leading funder of failed fascist coups in the United States. So if you're looking for a new car, chat, just, pick something that's not a Toyota. Opponent conceding does also break the board stall. Big true. Toyota for the Republicans in the House who voted not to certify the presidential election. Toyota has outspent the next leading company that's funding those people almost 2-to-1. I believe Toyota's response when questioned about it was they don't want to judge those lawmakers based on one single action, which is corporate speak for the coup wasn't a big deal because we spent a lot of money buying these politicians and we don't want to invest in new ones. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Chad. Welcome back. Quasi-Fuji, thanks for the 13 months. Good morning, good morning. You're gonna judge them based on that vote? As you should. Got a Blinkmoth Nexus mirror match here. Our start's pretty good. Even if they kill this, we have another one. And if they don't kill this, we can play second one, activate Inkmoth Nexus, do this, start pumping up the jam. And we've got Whirler Rogue on 4 here. Blocks. So we'll have this animate itself even though it can't attack. So this way it gets a counter here. And I expect they don't have a Fatal Push, because if they had a removal spell, they would have killed Overseer before it could activate. And then next turn we get to drop Early Boy, and these Overseers are going to pump up the jam on all these tokens. Thanks for checking out the prologue, whoever did that. Up to 46 on our goal already. So, I don't know exactly what our opponent's doing, but it seems like they're playing a deck that plays to the board, so I think I want these Deccan Stones at a minimum. I trim Karn in the aggressive matchups. Then we'll trim 2 of something else here. Trim the servos, I think. $47, you rock, Hoglandia. Yeah, one drop into payoff sounds good. We need a 3rd and 4th land, but we're on the draw, so we're pretty likely to hit those. When you have a 1-drop other than Stonecoil Serpent, you basically always want to leave this for later, because this could be a scaling threat that fits it on the curve wherever for however much mana you have. I mean, the real solution isn't branding the politicians based on their sponsors. It's rolling back Citizens United so that way companies can't lobby. It's a pretty good one. I wonder how many humans they're playing. Land? Nailed it. And I think even with that draw, we just want to try and get Steel Overseer going, right? So we'll go double spell here, and then if we get to untap with this, we're in an absurd spot. Yes, if I didn't have another 1-drop there, I would have played the Serpent on 1. Curving out's really important. If we hit the untapped blue source like a professional, we'll drop Whirler Rogue. Otherwise, we'll go Tempered Steel into Stonecoil, activate the Steel Overseer. Nothing but professionalism here, chat. If you haven't seen this deck before, this is one of the many decks in the high potential section on my website. It has not put up a lot of tournament results, but it also hasn't seen much or any tournament play. It's definitely one of the decks that's felt good in the times that we played, and I think with some optimization and good play, it could do well in a tournament very easily. I almost played this instead of Dead Guy Ale in the 5K last weekend, but I'm a sucker for Dead Guy Ale. Yep. Nice. Playing Ale worked out. I mean, we went 5-3. That's not really a very successful run. Meta Monday is going to be every other week moving forward. So we did one last week, so there will not be one this week. Into the North Land War Elves. Gonna have a turn 3 Nissa. I wonder if we can race turn 3 Nissa with this hand. Just a Gargoth, sure. Ooh, that's really good. Huh. So... am I Vault Skirging or Gingerbruting this turn? think we're Vault Skirging. I think I want to get this charging up. And then next turn we do this. Yeah, getting the lifelink charging up seems appealing. We're gonna be under a little bit of pressure from this Gargoth. Under pressure. I think we just take a 10 ball here. Well, that's pretty good with questing Beast. So if I block with this, I go to 1, and then we start attacking with Vault Skirge. That's true. Gargoth is trading this turn. I think I'm okay with that, though, right? Because then Rodis can't attack, and I go up to 7. And then, like, I'm pretty far ahead on board. I think I want to hold Gingerbrute back in case I need to gain 3. Yeah, but if they're pumping an elf, Rodis doesn't trample. And it can't pump itself. Yeah, I think I'm okay with Gargoth trading here. And they're not. Yeah, sweet. We're at a virtual 10 here. Mafia! Thanks for the 23 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yes, yeah, you could eat the Gingerbrute, chat. He's a food golem. Gingerbrutes are people. No, I'm pretty sure they're explicitly golems, actually. Confirmed not people. So that's got trample. Do this, take 5, go to 2. Sorry, take 6, go to 1, because this says trample. Man, they die in the backswing. Well, Deccan Stone sounds great. Aether Gust sounds great. They have various haste creatures that can block Gingerbrute, so we'll cut that, and we'll cut Urza against the aggro deck. I know we've cut Urza a lot in this set, but he's really good against the control decks, I promise. And three aggro matchups in a row. Not complaining about not playing against control, just justifying why you shouldn't cut the Karn. We'll definitely take all the non-control games we can get. Yeah, sounds sweet. 1, 2, 3, 4, curving right on out the door. Nice, nice. Can't attack or block. Yeah, definitely, Norm. Hopefully the Gandalf craze has died down a little bit. It can't block, it's not from Eldraine. Why is Gandalf taking a back seat? It's not. We just, our small sample size today hasn't experienced a lot of them, chat. Because that's how small sample sizes work. There was a 5K tournament over the weekend where Jeskai Control was the most played deck. We got skills, chat. We got skills. How did it do in that 5K? Lukewarm take. It doesn't matter how Jeskai can... Oh, I could have given this unblockable for lethal, huh? I was thinking we could only target artifacts, but it's any creature, right? Yeah, I missed lethal. That's fine. We're at 25. Jeskai Control is a deck that, as long as it's popular, creates misery. And there's always going to be lots of people that play it. It doesn't matter to you when you're getting memory lapse for the 6th time in a match that it technically has a mediocre win rate. Lionheart and Hydra Moose, welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Meg needs to be banded or... I genuinely don't know. At this point, I'm done talking about things that need to change in the format. I'm just gonna hang out. I would encourage you to check out my top 5 videos and the Meta Monday reports. I've talked about all of that, and nothing has changed since the last time I talked about it. And I'm not gonna sit here and harp. It creates a lot of negativity to sit and harp on things that haven't been changing. So we're just gonna hang out. We're gonna play games that are fun, and we're gonna concede games that aren't. If you want my opinions on those things, go back and check. I've given them plenty of times before. Well, I'm gonna draw white source. So I let on Blinkmoth Nexus here because if I didn't draw something to cast on 2, I was going to fire this up and attack with it. I think we're going to do some standard on Wednesday's stream is my plan. I'm going to do at least 1 historic deck a day, and then we're going to mix in some cube and some standard. So I think tomorrow's plan is cube, and then Wednesday's plan is standard. Wanted to do 2 historic decks today since we're back, because we didn't do a lot of historic last week. Speaking of Jeskai control, I actually don't think the deck that we're playing now has a terrible matchup here, especially with all the miscasts we get to bring it out of the sideboard. Blinkmoth Nexus, pretty good in this matchup. We just have games like this where we get on board very quickly. Like, we get to go ahead and attack them to 4 here. And, like, even if they have Wrath of God, Blinkmoth still kills them in a couple of turns. The question is, do I want to play around Wrath, or do I want to play around Lightning Helix? I think I want to play around Lightning Helix, so we'll cast this. Opponent has no Wrath of God and is Brainstorm locked. Got it. Alright, 3 copies of Miscast, 2 copies of Reidane. What are we cutting? I think Steel Overseer comes out in this matchup. They have a lot of point removal. This isn't a bug. This is the sideboard, chat. You have the top board here and the sideboard here. Don't you accuse Magic Arena of having bugs. Magic Arena is a very release-ready, stable piece of software. We pull Skilled Animator out because of their spot removal, maybe. Just count on Karn and Tempered Steel with our go-wide plan. Maybe I cut all of these and bring in the couple of negates, too. I still have 22 creatures with that, plus these are creatures, 26, 27, 28. Let's try this. I mostly have 5 counters in here for the combo matchup, but let's see if 5 feels like too many for the control matchup. I think we mulligan this with no white mana. I guess I have triple 1-drop. Hello. YOLO, chat. We're on the draw. Let's do it. Spike a white source on turn 3. Nope. Thank you, Blitz. I appreciate it. If you drop me a screenshot, I'd be happy to gift you a sub as a thank you for checking out the sponsor. That'll get done at the end of the stream today, or this evening. Clary on my wayward son. Do 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 do. I think this means I'm probably gonna board this out for game 3. If we get a game 3, cause Clarion means that this doesn't really stop much of them. Maybe it's right to jam Reidane this turn to play around Teferi 5. He's dead, Jim. You got him. Nah, not really good. We don't have that many things that have 3 toughness. Feels like we're dead? No. So again, evaluating garbage time in matchups like this has a lot to do with, does your opponent have a sustained source of card advantage? So I know that this game feels tedious, but it always feels tedious to play against decks like what the opponent is playing. That's why they're so frustrating. This is definitely a spot where we are not dead, and we're going to continue playing. I have 5 points of pressure in play. My opponent doesn't have a Teferi out. They don't have a Shark Typhoon. You're still in it to scrape it out and win it. That one will get us. I got really excited, and then I looked at my lands. You know, I'm honestly not sure at this point if Lightning Helix or Lightning Bolt would be better in this format for the Jeskai control decks. Bolt's obviously much better for aggro decks, but I'm kind of unsure. I'm gonna concede because them shocking that in means they have Torrential Gearhulk, which I think Gearhulk means I'd actually rather have Archon than Reidane. Archon stops Gearhulk from flashing things back. Jeskai used to play both in Modern. I used to play a mix of the two, depending on what the metagame looked like. You played more Helix when you cared about aggro decks, and you played more Bolts when there were more control and combo decks running around. Bolt was better at letting you be aggressive. Just send me a screenshot of you at the main game screen. Let's... on a DM. The odds of us needing to miscast something next turn are low, so I'm gonna Blinkmoth here as an extra point of damage. Yeah, usually you play 5 to 7 copies of a mix of Bolt and Helix, depending on what you cared about. Teferi in training, thanks for the 22 months. Welcome back. Okay, so we'll get to attack with a 3/3 Blinkmoth next turn and hold up Miscast, which is pretty good. Nah, I think I'd get rid of Memory Lapse way before I got rid of Helix, Bob. I think Helix is good, but I think it's definitely a sum of the parts. How do you get Hammer Timed in Historic? What do they use to equip it? Do I hold up Miscast this turn, or do I just Whirler Rogue? think I want to hold up Miscast because I don't want to Whirler Rogue into a sweeper. There is a length limit on the command fire side. That's why I am mentioning it when I talk about it. Oh, I should have... Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Is the part where they play their third Helix again? Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Oh. All right, so if we assume they have a Gear Hulk, what's the best line here? I think it's Whirler Rogue. I think we Rogue, and then we make Homunculus unblockable and crack them for 4. I don't think there's a reason to make them have it. I'm so far ahead. If I can make them, if I can force them to interact with the rest of my stuff and like have these Blinkmoths left over, like the Ink Moths alongside the Tempered Steel are Wrath of God insurance here. And the odds of them having nothing with 4 cards in hand is basically 0. So I don't think there's any reason to. If I was on 0 cards and didn't have other things I could be doing, there's a good chance making them have it is correct. But like I have other things I can do with my mana here, so there really isn't a reason to animate these into a Lightning Helix or Gear Hulk Lightning Helix. Because with the Whirler Rogue play here, even when they do this, I get to make this unblockable, right? Are they gonna commit the Tempered Steel? They're committing the Homunculus. Okay. Sure, yeah. That seems fine for us. Thanks to whoever completed the Guardian Tales prologue there. Just a third of our way to our goal. Appreciate you.
Some solutions must be built.
And game here kind of playing out in a way that works out perfectly with the way I sequenced, right? Like, I explicitly did not attack with my Blinkmoth because I didn't want to lose it to a Helix, and then my Whirler Rogue forced them to cast Wrath of God, and then I had Blinkmoths left over after the Wrath of God to close the game out. Hey, congrats, Clove. The creature lands are just one of your best resources in the Gandalf matchup. You can sequence in ways that keep them alive and maximize their potential. You have a good shot there. Yeah, really good example of why Blinkmoth is so good. We're supposed to be getting a cycle of creature lands in the D&D set, which would be sweet. Godspeed, Garlic. D&D finishes the... You mean the Triumph cycle? Because we have all the pathways. I want a bottom serpent here. We'll go 1, 2, 3. Are they spoiling all the D&D cards this week? They are. Spoilers. Official spoiler season starts tomorrow, and it's only a week long, which is actually great. I hate long, drug-out spoiler cycles. I'm gonna lead on Overseer, even though I think it's probably likely that it dies. Because if they're killing this, they're less likely to have removal for this later, I think. Bingo Stu, thanks for the 31 months. Welcome back. For people that are newer to the channel or haven't been following during when I do a spoiler season, I will not be doing daily spoiler review on this channel. When the full spoiler is up, I'll do a probably hour to hour and a half segment where I can't believe they didn't kill that before I activated it. I will do like an hour to hour and a half segment after the full spoiler is up, where I talk about just the cards I feel are relevant for Constructed. We don't really play Limited here, so I'm not going to go through and be like, yep, that's a bad Limited card. Yep, that's a bad Limited card. So we'll try and talk about just the ones that I think are important. And then we'll do a deck building session at some point as well. Gonna review the cards in the context of historic or standard, both. Modern too. We'll talk about it just in terms of all the constructed formats that I play. We're gonna dip back into a little bit of standard this week, so I can get a feel for what's going on in that format again before review the spoiler season starts up. I think our opponent is doing something controlling. I don't really know. I think I want these miscasts and a Karn. Top 5 cards are underrated before he played. Just like go back and dig up all the old Reddit posts of people who are like, Snapcaster Mage is bad, Oko is bad, stuff like that. I don't know, that sounds like a lot of effort. Oko is awful. Awful for Magic. Play this for 2 to fill out the curve here. Yeah, they leaked the cards for the upcoming event like early in May, chat. We talked about them then. God, I undervalued in my stuff. I don't know. If you like go back and look at my set reviews of things, I'm real cautious and conservative with my card evaluations overall because I've been doing this a while, and I understand that the power level of cards is contextual. You'll note that if you go back and watch my previous reviews, there's not a lot of, what's the right word? Deterministic language. A lot of it's very lawyer speak. Potentially, maybe, if these other things work out, this could be good, stuff like that. Hey, thanks to whoever completed the Guardian Tales prologue. Appreciate you. So do we just drop Whirler Rogue, or do we jam the second Tempered Steel? I kind of don't hate, like, second Tempered Steel, Stonecoil for 1. I could also Whirler Rogue this turn, and then next turn I can Tempered Steel attack with Blinkmoth. Yeah, let's do that. That is true. There are rare exceptions where a card is obviously fucked, like Once Upon a Time, where I will tell you that the card is obviously fucked. No, I don't think Oko was obviously messed up. I think the food mechanic was new. I think there's a reasonable excuse for why Oko got missed. You could feel free to disagree with that, but I would, however, be surprised if Wizards of the Coast had their testing team, like, play games with Oko before they shipped it in its final form. Hey, look, chat, I'm gonna pay 4 mana and attack for 10. Are these creature lands good? What do we think about these creature lands, chat? Nice control deck. Something I didn't mention in the deck tech for this set that I usually mention is, people always ask me, Jeff, you dislike Intangible Virtue, but you like Tempered Steel, what's the difference? And honestly, Blinkmoth Nexus is the difference. The fact that Tempered Steel not only gives twice as much of a power-up as Intangible Virtue, but it, like, pumps up your creature lands is such a big deal. Yeah, I agree, Edman. Their blue-black deck likely can't take Tempered Steel out of play. Sure. So one thing I'm going to do with my sequencing with this hand is I'm going to play a Blinkmoth Nexus on 1, because it lets me not commit to a color on this. I'm not 100% sure if we want this to be white or blue just yet, depending on what our other draws look like. So I'm intentionally activating both creature lands there so I can start putting counters on them. So that was an activation that was on purpose there. Hey, thanks to the folks checking out the prologue. We'll be wrapping up the stream today with some Guardian Tales after we play a couple of historic decks. I think I want some Reidane. Maybe I don't. Maybe I leave a couple of these Dorkos in. So I know Steel Overseer is like good that game where my opponent kept a mediocre hand, but they're going to have more removal post board, and more importantly, they're going to mulligan for that removal. So I think this card's stock goes down. You can check it out on iOS, but my promo is only for Android devices, Jim. Man, chat, our creature lands hurt our opponent enough that they won 2 games. Blinkmoth too strong, please nerf. So will somebody please think of the Blinkmoths? Our steely boys, chat. I mean, so far, we're undefeated today against Fairy and Gandalf decks. So we're back to Nexuses being too powerful. That's great. It is really quick. It takes like three to 5 minutes, depending on how quickly you read. The game's also really good too. Think like SNES Zelda style game, story-driven RPG with some puzzles thrown in. Has a ton of good reviews on its app stores. Dwarven Mine. Okay, so this is the combo deck. Our hand's set up okay to race here, he says, before getting Sweltering Suns down 3. So for people that haven't been keeping up, the opponent's archetype needs X's 2 to combo with Indomitable Creativity now. Although I guess they could be Coma Chameleon as well. I'm playing out the Stonecoil Serpent for 0 here, because we're going to play another Tempered Steel next turn. Looks like they're the Coma deck. Okay. Coma Chameleon. Do. Yeah, our board attack's in here pretty okay. This flies, this is protection from Coma. Yeah, the flavor text on Stonecoil is real slick. I think the combo deck tends to be better than the Coma variation, the Sage of the Falls build. Although Coma's a bit better in this particular instance. Hopefully we draw an untapped land next turn and get to jam Whirler Rogue. Because it wouldn't have been a trade. They would have sacrificed the 3/3 to make this indestructible. It would have allowed me to push 3 more points of damage, but 5 versus 2 is like not that different for our deck. This thing can sacrifice a Serpent to get indestructible, or sacrifice it to tap something. That's unfortunate. Alright, really need the untapped land here. Ideally a Blinkmoth Nexus. Alright, beggars shan't be choosers. So now they need to diddle the Court Homunculus proactively, which means the Stonecoil Serpent gets to get in. And they have to deal with our flying dorks here on top of it. Hey, thanks for the quarter of a year, FEX. I appreciate that. Okay, so again, Steel Overseer comes out against removal heavy decks. Reidane comes in here, slows their combo down. Miscast is good. Negate is good. Is this an Aether Gust matchup? I guess it flips Coma over too, right? Probably decent. Do I want Whirler Rogue? I feel like I don't. It's kind of expensive. I think I like Animator over Rogue. I think this is more likely to give me burst damage. Zuzal, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. This is fine. Not amazing, but fine. We'll bottom the Aether Gust. Thanks to whoever finished up the prologue there. 54 out of 150. This might be playing a little bit cautious, but I feel like I just want to, like, not get Sweltering Suns. Hey, 55. Remember, if you are a non-sub who did that and you'd like a sub-gift to the channel, feel free to DM me a screenshot of your account at the main screen. I'll get you a sub-gift hooked up at the end of the day today. So even if they have a sweeper here, I've got Blinkmoth Nexus that gets to truck on in for the last couple of points. That's pretty good. And like a Shark Typhoon here as well, we could be in trouble. Our Prismari command gets us into trouble. Please concede. Yes. All right. Drop me a DM with a screenshot when your sub runs out, and I will get you hooked up after your sub runs out, because I can't gift a sub to someone that currently has an active sub. But it is fine to let your Prime run out and then DM me later this month or next month when you're ready to get the gift. All right, we're gonna play one more match with Tempered Steel, but we're gonna go ahead and put the deck voting poll up here for the next deck after this. What historic deck next? So Smothering Storm, green-white tokens, Teamer, Arcanist. You'll have 10 minutes to vote, and you may spend channel points and bits to vote extra to participate in the democratic process. So these are all decks we played previously that felt reasonable. You can pick which one we run back here next. Smothering Storm off to a strong start here. Storm is great, but feels bad against Gandalf. I don't know if that was my experience playing it. You have a bunch of 6-mana Chandras, which is like, makes that matchup pretty reasonable. Smothering Storm plays emergency powers and the 6-mana Storm enchantment. For people that haven't seen that one before. I mean, all three of the decks I put up for voting are sweet. You know, we don't put stock dry decks up for voting, chat. That's boring. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a poll be less close before. That's impressive. Twitch chat is never this confident on what it wants to see. Drawing another 1-drop here was great, obviously. This deck is really good, chat. It's gas. All right, so Aether Gust and Stone in. Gingerbrute out because they have a lot of haste creatures that can block it. Karn out. Easy 60. Freeman, thanks for the quarter of year. I appreciate the Prime support. Welcome back. This deck has been on the high potential part of my website since literally the day I put the site up with decks again. I think this deck is genuinely competitive. I think it has tools to be successful in every popular matchup. It's probably a dumpster fire against something like Junsack, but I think you're fine punting that matchup with a creature deck. L wins. Thanks for the 40 months. It's been a long time since the Hex days. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, like, not only does this deck get under the field, but having access to Miscast in your aggressive deck is really strong right now. These sub notifications are part of the integration for the sponsored segment today. So the characters that are popping up are characters out of the Guardian Tales game. It's really cute. Very Zelda-esque RPG / puzzle game, action RPG. If we hit a white source to play this this Tempered Steel on curve, we'll be in a great spot again. Can you step on my Homunculus? Voting is less fun when there's a clear favorite. Yep. Noise. Noise. Maybe I'm supposed to play this. Nah, I think playing this as a 2/2 would be bad, right? Because they could just step on it. I think they have a stomp. The deck queue insanity has finally died down a little bit, so we'll probably be doing deck voting a few times this week. Letting you all guide what we do. I was not. I was a child during the NES / SNES era, and my father despised video games. I did not have any consoles growing up. When I was a teenager, we eventually saved our money from odd jobs and stuff, and birthdays and Christmases, and pieced together mediocre gaming PCs, but never had any consoles. In comparison, chat, my children have lots of video games. Well, Atarka's Command is less bad for us than Embercleave, kind of. We do die to another deal 3, which is scary. So Servo Stonecoil is better against their haste that makes something not be able to block. I don't talk about my immediate relatives on stream particularly often, and to give insight into why I recently had a family member pass away, and one of my siblings who I haven't spoken to in a long time decided to send me a text message out of the blue letting me know that they blamed the COVID vaccine for that family member passing, and that myself and the Democrats are directly responsible for their death because of encouraging people to get vaccinated. So, yeah, the Kool-Aid has been drunk, you could say. I'm in Central Illinois. They're dead on board, right? Well, they're dead to the Shockland. Smothering Storm will be our victor. So we do this. They block 3 of these. They take 12 exactly. It's good. Thanks for the bits of the channel points, Chuki. Nice victory for Smothering Storm with 69% of the vote. Listen, chat, if there's one thing I would encourage you to take away from my story there about family members who are gone and crazy for various reasons out of my life is that you get to pick who your family is, chat. Just because you're blood related to someone doesn't mean you owe them your time. You pick your family. People that treat you like crap, or people that treat other people around you like crap that you don't like how they treat others, you don't have to give them your time of day. My kids have lots of wonderful, supportive aunts and uncles who are people that we love and care for, that are fantastic to my children and are good people, and we couldn't be more fortunate. You know, life is what it is, and it would be nice if I had blood relatives that were less obnoxious or were a little bit different. But you know, at the end of the day, I'm very fortunate and grateful for everything that I and they have. At any rate, to get a little bit less heavy, this deck was sweet. It was just like we beat pretty much the entire range of the format, honestly, everything from control to Gruul aggro. And while I think we definitely ran hot during this set, we had some good breaks at different points, I do think that this deck has the tools to be competitive in... This deck has the tools to be competitive in that entire range of matchups. You have just good nut draws where you like play 3 things out, play Tempered Steel, attack for 9 on turn 3. Your Skilled Animator with Vault Skirge is just like this life-linking monster that aggro decks can't race. Whirler Rogue lets you break board stalls that you wouldn't otherwise win. And honestly, the card of that set was Blinkmoth Nexus, right? Like, this card punched the clock and went to work so many times in all of those games that we played. I don't know what the actual record was. I think we lost one in there, maybe we didn't. The record doesn't matter. Like I said, from a theory standpoint, being this low to the ground aggressive deck that gets to leverage cards like Miscast without really splashing, and getting to play this creature land that has upside with things like Tempered Steel is really huge. All right, let's shift gears and play some